So today's topic is, first we will do is on school managers and governing bodies. That is basically understanding how we can interact with different governing bodies for a smooth running of our school. So the other educational administrations that we should get connected to. So the Ministry of Education, the Regional Professional Education, so inspectorate unit, so whichever unit is inspecting, then the district authorities and other bodies like educational, religious organizations, whatever that we feel is possible for us to ensure that we do smooth running of the school. Okay, so the educational administration structure in most of the schools and in most of the countries as well goes by this, and I have seen that even in West African um, educational setup, this is quite similar to what we should be doing, and that is, first of all, the Ministry of Education or Directorate of Education is what is required in any country, so which it is well in place. Then the Director of Education is responsible, who assigns duties to Deputy Director of Education, and then Education Department and Inspection Department work together. And then they go on to the district level officers, block officers, and then the unit of school principals and school administration comes into play. So, why educational administration is more important in any place or state or country is basically the objectives of educational administration is to provide proper education to the student, adequate utilization of all the resources, ensuring that these resources are there for each and every school in consistency and they know how to use these resources to the fullest. Then the ethic committee that ensures that the professional ethics and the professional development of the teachers is maintained. The teachers are well aware of their ethics as per the terms of the mannerism and the conduct they need to ensure they have for the school organization. Then educational programs for acquainting students with art of democratic living and giving excellent training in the democratic system. Then mobilizing the community, ensuring there's a proper um, mobilization of all the resources in the community itself. The community help and interaction is also equally given importance, so that is required and that should be there. Then to organize co-curricular activities effectively so that the teachers are able to incorporate them in education for work efficiency of the students as well, so they are more trained to be in the world, then to give get the work done in the sense that ensuring that the policies are in place so that the teachers, the schools function very well, ensuring the proper work is being done on the noted whatever aspect is required or needs a push. Then ensuring the various vocational studies and all the different avenues of life for a holistic uh, development. Then train the students for a scientific attitude, objective outlook, so that they all the aspects or activities are looked at, and then to ensure qualitative improvement in education. So the quality of education is as per consistent and across the country, well monitored. Okay, so as per the your West African national policy of education, the federal Ministry of Education took on the responsibility, so that ensuring the national policy of education is in order and is standard and quality control is there to ensure that it is across there. Then coordination of education practices in, if we come on to Nigeria, is taken account of, and then the universities and advisory services improve the standards of the teaching, and it is done as per the national standards, and the national standards are maintained across the country. Then coordination of non-formal education, so that is how the vocational studies or the vocational centers are improved to ensure that they are incorporated with the normal academic study, and the coordination is well done in the sense that if in case, for example, NVQs, so if in case the student is not performing at the GCSE level or at the A level, what equivalent vocational education is there so that they can be trained to get into the system to earn money and they are able to sustain themselves. Then establishment of central registry for teachers so that the teachers know what they need to do, and as plus not only their responsibilities, they should also understand what their rights are. Then ensuring that minimum level of education is given to everybody around. The next online comes the state ministries of education. So that means the policy, whatever the national guidelines are, they come into function at the state level. So the policies are administered at the state level and the primary, secondary level of that particular state. Planning, research, and development is done. So the state now has to take on that national policy and ensure that everybody is established in a way to run as per the policy of the nation, and preparing all the educational development plans and ensuring that all the needs of the state are taken into consideration and they plan out all the economic needs as well of the state, not only educational needs. The next committee then set, or the branch I would say in the state, is that you have a Universal Basic Education Commission that's set in Africa, where the advising of the federal government and funding for the primary education area is taken into account. So, as the head of the schools, we need to understand that how and when we can go and consult them, what is the master plan for the primary education in India, and they are accessible so that we can go and talk to them whenever required. So we have to ensure, and as their duty is to ensure that they have the comprehensive list of the primary teacher in each state. So as a school, it's our duty to go and register our teachers there as well. Then basic education is basically the board where the management of the educational state is looked at. So where we see if there are any funds that needs to be provided, so we can go, or we can ensure that the federal, so for example, the state has offered or proposed some funding and the federal government has agreed to it, the national, at the national level they've agreed. So here the management of those funds needs to be there. We have to ensure that the posting and development of the teacher is happening properly, and if interstate transfer is required, to what level we can do that. And then we also have to ensure that if in case the teacher is retiring, or but still the teacher is fit for work and we are short of teachers at our level, we are able to reinstate them, or we are able to ensure that they come into the system in some way or the other, where they can be compensated as well as they can still give their expertise to the system. And then many other advisory boards or the councils are made for the state. So that are the National Examination Council, the National Commission, so College of Education. So they are now further separated into smaller councils so that each area is looked after properly. So, for example, the National Commission of Colleges, they ensure that the programs in the college and education in the college is at national level and everybody is receiving that. The approved, then what are the credit courses? How are they running the approved courses or not? And if not, then what um, basically points they need to adhere to? And if the colleges are given the right guidelines to follow, then undertakes this council also undertakes, or the educate call commission also ensures that wherever needed, the curriculum development and the standards of education throughout the country in the colleges level is maintained, and proper analysis of teacher education and is taken into account, and then accordingly the policies are developed. And then another important aspect is the technical education. So this is the education where the government creates programs in polytechnics or colleges of technology where approved courses should run, and the government ensures that they do, and then they ensure what entry qualifications should be there, and these are where the more hands-on experiences is required, or more where the children need to have more technical knowledge, so they ensure that how they can be developed, and then they analyze and publish those technical technological educational ensuring that it is again consistent throughout the country, and the standard and curriculum development is continuously checked on. So National Council of Education, that is again, it is the advisory board. The now, as the heads of your institutions, you have to ensure that you keep a good rapport with the advisory board of education or the council as well, so that you know what the expected standards are, and you maintain the uniformity at the national level of the educational systems. Okay, so your role as the school head, and what you really need to see. So the major areas of the concern would be the personnel resource management, then the physical resources management, financial resources, and academic resources management. How would you do that, and what you need to do? So if you're not able to maintain that, the management aspect of these things, then the organization can be classified in three as per the board categories. So these are the organization which is constantly improving itself. So they will give that institution the name of on the move. So they are called the the move organizations. And then the organizations who are able to settle down and able to um, connect and maintain and are able to ensure the content and the status of their school is maintained. So they are called the status cause organization. That means they are working towards maintaining the standards. And then there are the organizations who are declining. So those organizations are called down the hill organizations. Whatever they are doing, maybe their resources, they're lacking the resources and they're not able to manage them well. Maybe it's the organizational fail, it many reasons for its fail. So that is what needs to be looked at. So as the head of the institution, you have to ensure that you cater to all the four aspects: academic, financial, physical. That means physical resources, whatever is required for smooth running of the school, the equipments, etc. The personnel is the development of your staff and ensuring that all of the human resources are well maintained. And if there are dropouts, why are there so many dropouts, etc. Okay, so why is it so important for us to plan? So the one is that we stay committed to the objectives that we are ensuring for a smooth running of the school. Then it is that actual requirement of the resources, we know that okay, when we plan, we ensure that these resources are there. How are we going to now ensure that we use these resources, or whether the lack of certain resources is actually hindering the smooth functioning of or the specific objectives? Then mobilization of the resources, ensuring that various agencies are looked at and we ensure that our ideas are clear to the agencies. So for example, in terms of resources, we could say how much the government is going to financial resources. So how much the government is funding. So will that be sufficient for us to sustain the 2 years, 3 years, 1 year. So, what outside non government funding we need to organize? So, if we need to do some planning for open evenings, we need to do some planning for, say, parents' help, we need planning to set up some stalls or something like that that will bring funding. Like some schools do is they do evenings, so they have 2 week evenings where they have baking evenings, so where the parents come, put the stalls on, they bake theirs whatever as volunteers, so whatever they like to bake, so they can put the stalls on, so the whatever money comes, it is gone, goes towards the school funding. So, as a head, you have to ensure that you plan certain things like that. Then it is monitoring of the use of resources. So, ensuring that once you have got those resources, when and when they should be implemented. So, if, for example, the principal would have meetings with the faculty regularly, ensuring that you are giving them the input required from your side and they are giving you the progress reports if the objectives are maintained or not. If they have concerns, what you need to do you need to reduce something, or are they not sure of what they're going to do, or the instructions are not clear enough for them to go forward. So that is what you need to understand as the part of the management, and then plan of operations as to who will do what. That again is very, very important, because as a person, as the head of the institution, you have to ensure and understand which ones are your good resources, human resources, what area of the building would be used for what. So all these things have to be planned, and you need to have a clear cut responsibility given to the right skills that you have as the head noticed in your teachers. So you know which one would be a better fit for a certain duty. Okay, so decentralization. So that is again very important. So why decentralization decision making is success? Because we are able to obtain and retain knowledge very clearly. We have create efficiency throughout the organization, so we are able to do that. And there is increase in core competency activities as well, and plus we develop as a team, so we're able to ensure that we have better understanding of our organization and we take inputs from everybody as a team. Then we ensure that we do resource planning. So that is, resource planning is making what staff requirements are, making projections of the what enrollment projections are, what we need to do, what are the buildings requirements. So if we need to have more students in to ensure that we have extra rooms or not. So if in case we are facing that we have less students and there are very too many empty rooms in the school, so how you can utilize them to the best so that the already studying students can benefit from them. Then identification of the problem, so we need to understand where the problem is, and then we can understand how various programs can be set into place to ensure we eradicate those, or we eradicate all the issues that we are facing. Then determination of priorities, so that is allocation of resources accordingly, in allocation of projects to within a program. So how what small little aspects given, and then working year wise, facing of the proposals given. So we see year wise where we have reached. So what is the further or the next step to income? Financial resource planning. That is, I would say, once we have identified the key financial resource planning is something that we can't move forward with. So that has to be really, really important. So the governors in at the school and the academies, all of them can use this information as a starting point. So what are and how we are going to manage resources and finances effectively, so they are first the staff pay as percentage of the total expenditure. So first we see that what pay the staff is getting and what percentage of the whole resources, financial resource that we have, or the expenses we have, what the staff takes away. Then the average teacher cost, is pupil teacher ratio correct? So if the average teacher cost is coming out less or more, what we need to do? So we need to ensure the class sizes are good. If in case we are not, the ratio isn't good, then we have to either increase or decrease the class resources. How much? Then again, teacher contact ratio. How much the teacher is available. So what we need to do, we need to reset the timetable. Do we have to ensure the working hours or planning hours, or the in good mix, or as per the policy, national policy, are we maintaining that as in the school? Then the proportion of budget spent on the leadership team. So what are you doing? Is the leadership team fruitful enough for the budget that they are taking away? Then ensuring the budget projection is done from 3 to 5 years. So we ensure that minimum three, and what we are expecting a school to go to in next 5 years. Sorry, spend per pupil or non-pay expenditure. What are you spending? For example, the resources, the stationery that we are spending on the students. What expense is that for? Are we ensuring proper hygiene for the students? Is the maintenance of the school done well? So you compare it, is it really worth what we are doing, what we can enhance, and what we need to prioritize for the school improvement, and if the cost options are relatively sustainable. And then we can see that, okay, there could be teachers who are on daily pay, for example. Are they costing us more? So, should we have, even if we want part-time teachers, should all of them be on contracts? So, what is the contract? What is the cost? The renewal dates of the contracts. So, what, why, and when we should renew the contracts to ensure good productivity. Okay. Any questions for this so far?
No, no
Okay.
any question.
Okay.
No
So
question.
all right, thank you. So we'll just go on to the second part of it then. Okay. So you can see the slides. Nothing has changed. Okay. School, parents, community, and interface. That is our next unit. That is understanding the school, parents, and how the other communities or the connections, local connections, would help us maintain and improve our school better. So the objectives of it is to identify why school, family, community, and all need to collaborate. Then highlight the key factors why it is important. and what is your role as a school leader to ensure that collaboration happens, and then what school community relations that could affect the quality of the school and management, and then discuss what building maintenance or sustaining good community school community partnership we can ensure and move forward with. Okay, so defining family, school, and community. So why? What are school community partnerships? So as per Melville Blanc, he said that intentional effort to create and sustain relationships among the school or school district and a variety of both formal and informal organizations and institutions in the community. So as a school leader, you have to ensure that you have good formal contractual relationships. You use the school or the neighborhood facilities and equipment, sharing resources, and then mutual support and responsibility for implementation and evaluation. So, like for example, as a head of your institution, you can notice who all can contribute. Say, for example, you just know that certain students parent is a teacher somewhere else, and you can ask them to give extra lessons in the evening, say once a week maybe. So that could help the learning of children who need one-to-one attention because they cannot learn in a class scenario. So that is how you they would work in partnership with the school. Some depending upon what resources you are ready to compensate for their services, or you want them to do it voluntarily. So that is entirely as per your school budget. Okay, so why we need school community interface? So it is to improve the school. Definitely, one key is that we will have more resources, so we will be able to improve our school better, and we improve the academic outcome and the achievements of the students. Because when we are collaborating with other communities or parents, we are ensuring that academically the students are able to achieve better. And sometimes we can have like vocational clubs, or we can have some parents who have more vocational education or who are doing something where they can have students to observe them, or you for example your GCSE level students can go as apprentice to their offices to learn life skills. Then strengthening families and neighborhoods to reduce student problems, so ensuring that the families are able to easily talk about the problems about their children, or if there are anything that needs extra attention because of the home situation, then as a school you can collaborate, and the parents should be comfortable to decide that, and the strength of the community is enhanced. So to ensure that you have parental involvement in the school projects decision making, so you have in your governing body you have at least 20% of parents there. So if your governing body, at least 2 to 3 members should be from the parents community. Then to ensure that you have integrated transitions from school. So as I discussed earlier, so for example, you want ensuring that you have proper evidence. So if the students want to move from your school to the other school in the community, you know that you are in the term time you are actually doing the same thing. So that means the education around your community is consistently same. You're interacting with other school leaders as well to ensure there's consistency of education, and intervention is wherever required. Then ensuring and designing proper interventions so that there aren't any social issues like drugs or school gangs or the activities which are not other activities which are not at all socially acceptable. So violence, bullying, smoking, etc. And then ensuring that certain decisions to improve the environment is there. So to help the school, so you incorporate parks, garbage people to ensure that they are working with you constantly to ensure the tidiness or hygiene of the environment. Then your recycling community, community libraries. So some schools I know who don't have a library. So what they have done is they have got in touch with the local libraries, and their students are now members of those libraries as a part of the school community library. So now, even if they cannot access library in the school because school cannot afford it, what they've done is they can now, because it's just walking distance from the school. So sometimes even the primary children, obviously accompanied by adults, go to have the reading time, or just ensuring that they learn the tactics of using the library. Then using community halls, because your school is small, you cannot hold annual functions in the school. You cannot have big, say, for example, you want to have a expert coming in and have a workshop with the experts. Your school does not have proper halls. You can go get in touch with the community halls and community services to get it going. Then, so what family school community partnership should look like? So according to Joyce Epstein, he says that school helps should be there for families. So that means any referrals to health services, etc. There should be bookshops for parents to come and read in the school itself. Parents can be used for reading activities for the school. Then there should be school home communication. That means regular scheduling of parent teacher meetings should happen, where the labs are. If parents are feeling any problem with the student, how it can be kind of come to a more healthy solutions for the students' betterment. Then family help for schools, like supervising field trips, asking for volunteers to go on to field trips. If the parents can help them fundraise for because they want to buy, say, a science equipment for their science lab, but the school cannot afford and gone out of the resources, financial resources, then you can have a parent meeting or send them emails to request them fundraising because you want to develop this area of your school and you do not have enough funds. Then involvement of in learning activities at home. So for example, you have created a home reading program and children are now reading at home. Say for example, you have a reading booklet for the whole year. So you put the name of the book that the child is going to read for the a week, and then you have that reading activity given to the child for home, and the parent reads with the child and puts a comment how they read in the school. So that way the learning activities at home are also monitored and planned. So as teachers, you can also see if they're progressing or are they reading better at home, and if why they're not reading, is it some issue in the school environment that they which obviously is interfering with the reading or the overall learning. Then involvement at governance, decision making, and advocacy. So open discussion should be there with the community and the stakeholders to ensure the decision making is done with many ideas taken into account. So sometimes one head may not be able to understand where the issues are, but somebody who is already in there living the situation can give you better answers to it. So a good discussion is always welcomed. Then collaboration exchange between the community. That means the school partnership should happen with different businesses or different projects that would help in internships. So, for example, I have a lot of students who are going to medical school, for example, and they want to do medicine, and they're taken subjects at A level, which would help them get into the university to do their medicine degree. So, as school community, it becomes our duty to collaborate to ensure we know who all they can go, or maybe some nursing homes, or maybe some hospitals. We can request them and ask them what days or what a time of the year would be best for them to go and have that shadow learning or apprenticeship if possible for a month or 2 months at school, or maybe summer program. So as school, that is something you need to identify and ensure you have partnership with such businesses and learn. Okay, so collaboration can therefore be depicted. So how? So for example, we have health and social services, build up a system of care. We have enhanced life in school. How do we do that? Then we have improved transactions to work. So obviously, when we collaborate, we are able to ensure that our health and social services play well and we are adhering to the norms of it. We are ensuring whenever required, we can bring social services in the school if ever required. We can bring in health services in the school if required. For example, we have nurses, which, if in case school cannot afford it, we still have nurses because we have asked some health authorities to get that for us. Then we are able to build a system of care, and then we see where loopholes are and improve upon it. This will also help us enhance the life of children in school. So whether we need to have more funding, say for example, for because they come from economically weaker sections, so we need to ensure that the food, so that their nutrition is properly done. So we have ensured that they have their meals in the school. So what all we need to do, and then improve the work, career, post-secondary education, how we are incorporating everything in there to so that the career is set. So for example, somebody doesn't cannot afford or cannot go for further education because of their um, family issues or whatever personal issues, or maybe they are not as per learning is concerned, they do not think they are good enough to go on to uni. So can you direct them to some BTech programs? Can you direct them to some NVQs, vocational qualifications, so that they can sustain themselves happily in life? And then expand facilities after school, like academic, recreational, and then enrichment programs that will help students develop as a whole personality. Okay, what factors you have to look at when the school decides to? These are the three main factors the school should see if they feel this is happening. For example, inconsistent attendance. Attendance is not dropping, or the students are not coming. What do we need to do to ensure the consistency of attendance, to ensure that we have our students coming to school regularly at least? So where are the high risk factors for the school children that the school needs to cater to, and why dropouts are happening? Is there any special reason for the dropouts to happen, or there's something the school needs to do to ensure that they sustain these students in the school? Okay, the school community engagement planning process. So how do we do that to ensure that we do not incur such problems, or we do not incur risks in school as well? So what do? We ensure the mapping community assets. So we map them out. We ensure that we are compiling a directory. So compiling directory means we have the list of all the students there. We have the current activities assessment. So what they did, why they did, and all that evidence is required. And then once we ensure that what communities we have as an asset, obviously those communities will be an asset for the school who are ready to help. Then we are compiling the directory of our students to ensure what and where and how we can contact them, or what will be the community that is ready to help comes in their area, because so that they don't have to go away, or the community doesn't have to travel much and commuting time is not wasted. Then what activities they have already done, and how we can partnership and plan it out to ensure that we enhance upon the learning of the students. So how do we do that? We have to ensure that as a school, we have variety of ways to do that in the school community. And what do? We ensure school newsletters are sent regularly, parent teacher meeting is happening, and if in case the school wants, they can take suggestions on uh, those, and then there are open forums for suggestions. Then we have press releases regularly from the school. So as a school, you have to ensure that you have a teacher who's designated for press releases and follows it regularly. Then any school bulletin board, that should be updated regularly, ensuring that the students know everything, parents know everything about the, say, improvement of the school, whether the assessments, how the assessments are happening, what measures you as a school are taking to ensure good quality of education and good quality school resources being used and taken care of. Then the school handbooks, school celebration events throughout the year. Then again, parent conferences should happen. Then there should be regular email updates, and every year there should be an event to celebrate your children's long efforts of that year. And as the head, it would be nice if you can even arrange a little get together for the teachers as well to enjoy end of the year. And then if you can ensure that you follow as per the district calendars the activities done in the school. Create a web page of your school where you have all the information accessible for the parents, so you can have school portal accessible to the parents where whatever homework you have given your students, it is uploaded on that portal as well for the parents to see, so that they can collaborate with you well, and they can ensure that, because obviously they have the knowledge, for especially for some students who do not come home and discuss their schoolwork or don't do the schoolwork, giving an excuse that they don't have anything really to do, or they don't have any homework. Okay, so why we definitely need assessments, and what we need to ensure that why what needs as for the school we have, and then we assess those needs and then plan them out. So for example, we need to formulate what the essential priority need is, we think about it, and then once we've established the need, we ensure that we see who's going to be the potential partners for those that particular need for that day. For example, as discussed earlier as well, the science equipment you need, with many of the schools are actually lacking with science equipment. So you need science equipment. Who will you partner with to get those science equipments? It could be, say, your parents who are doctors and they're working in the government facilities. There will be many machines that they don't use and they may be lying. So as a uh, teacher, say for example, you want to use microscope for the practical reason for your school, so you can ask the hospital to give you, say, donate one microscopic machine so that you can check what, say in biology labs, you can use that for. And you can, if probably they're not using it because they're working properly, but at least in school you can have that for children to see what the equipment is like, so they can have the experience of, you may say that okay, this is not a real, say for example, equipment, and they want to, how do I put it, say for example, they have these little biology, aim is to see certain organisms under the microscope. So, but because you don't have the microscope, you cannot do that practical in the school. So, if you have the microscope, You, even if it's not able to give the correct uh, what you call um, the setup, or you can it is not able to explain what the it looks like, or but you're able to see through the microscope, the lenses are working, so they can at least have a look how the microorganism would look under the microscope, so they can have that feeling of understanding. And that could, you never know, that could encourage the student to take up science in his university, because he's had the feel and now he wants to ensure that he uses a proper equipment for himself. So it visual, you have to again ensure that you visualize where you need to use those particular services and how you use those services. Then effective leadership, school and community, how would you build that? It's basically integrating between school and community, ensuring that schools has an in-depth knowledge of the community and the resources available. So as a community, you have to ensure that you use human resources who bring you that knowledge of what community is where and how you can use it. Then you have to ensure that you are including everything possible to ensure you are seeking wherever opportunities in all sectors where you can collaborate with, and you can send, say for example, you have other school, so you have a school in your community that is a private school and you're a government school, and they have better equipments, they have better infrastructure, so you can have, or maybe they are having a training program which you as a school cannot afford to conduct in your school. So you can send your teachers to their school. So you can ask for permission. You can talk to the principal about that. If you can also, obviously, as a school, you have expenses to incur, but at least you can be part of, because they have a bigger hall and they can accommodate, and your teachers will have training there as well. Then ensuring that you have good um, transformational leadership, so that is that you're able to ensure that you have a good vision and you are able to give that vision away to others as well. Then you have access and utilize internal external networks, again as I told you. So any internal networks would be, you have knowledge of teachers or students who are from certain departments in the community, and then you can have them to help you out to develop or enhance your school. Then sharing the vision of future and center all the youth. So ensuring that you are what you want for your students, ensuring that that is intimated to the community or the parents or the students themselves. So what I have seen as an example is that as the head, once the students are on the senior most class, they're ready to move on to their own respective careers, or the head of the schools, I've seen in some schools they have one-to-one meetings with them to give them guidance. So if in case you have a bigger school and resources, you have a career department in your school that can go and have that guidance and counseling sessions with those students regularly to ensure that they take up the right career. Like some schools have uh, these tests where they say the best career fit the student is. So if is it the career fit as per their abilities aligned to what they think. So that test can help them, and that can also help some confused students to go ahead with the career that would best suit them because they cannot decide. Then to share the vision, yeah, we've done this point. Okay, and then the community, you share your ideas with them, and then you take on um, whatever vision somebody else has, and then you're able to decide, or you're flexible to change your own viewpoint or the ideas as you feel the other person's vision is more creative or maybe more towards the development of the children and is more focused. As a head, you're able to take risks on certain decisions because you feel that are best for your students. And then you have, as a school head, you are able to, and you're able to decide for your school better, and you have those decision making skills, and you value the contributing to the learning of all. And again, as school, you can have the community that in the school, after school clubs, for example, that can come and enhance the skills required. You can have, say, mental math sessions in the evening that can be held by parents because that's not much to do. Then you can have co-teachers or, say, teaching assistants asking parents to do it, and you can give them as volunteers. And I think most of the parents would be happy to do that, to do it for their school, or you can compensate them with some monetary gain as well. Then you what basically again, as a school community partnership, what you're able to do, what are you able to create and hold for your future, it's as per the community involvement is concerned, and how you can sustain those volunteers and the stakeholders of your school. But again, as a head of your institution, there would be many hurdles that you think would come in for their partnership. That could be concerns about the children being segregated from their peers because the family member is coming, so they're not comfortable. Cultural and class differences could be there, one issue. Lack of understanding regarding special education processes. Then the parents feel disconnected from decision making. So that could again be a hindrance because they don't feel involved in the school, so they cannot feel comfortable. Then there's a parent denial of disability. So, for example, a child is have learning concerns, the parent is not ready to understand that there are some learning concerns with the child. So as a parent, I need to make an effort or maybe collaborate with other community resources to ensure better development of my child. It could be previous negative experiences with the school system. So as a parent, you've changed country and you've come to the school system where you were not treated well or something like that. And now that you've come into a new school, you do not want to be associated with the school system because you feel that they're going to create the same ruckus that they did before. And whether the timings that you've scheduled for the community, they may not have time, they may not be able to cater to what you're asking for from them because the timings don't suit them. It could be the transportation is not there. So as a school, you can offer help, like you already have school buses, so you ensure that the school buses run in the evening as well for evening programs, or those parents who live in the areas where they have transportation problem, the school students are anyways going to be picked up with the school transport, so the parents are allowed to join in as well and they can take that transportation to school. Then there could be family issues like homelessness, unemployment, there could be violence in the house. So that could kind of have an avoidance kind of attitude of a parent. Then the parents do not feel that there is a poor communication from the school side. The school is not catering to what they need fully. And the school has been communicating too much. Negative communication is coming from the school. It could be related to their child, it could be related to some other issue, but the parent is not feeling comfortable because they feel that they somehow feel personally attacked by the school, so obviously they will not feel too good. Teachers are not well trained. So, as a school, you do not understand how to train your teachers to ensure the collaboration happens effectively. So, what are you doing as a school? Are you really catering to the teachers or not? You're ensuring the professional development of your teachers regularly. They are sent for regular trainings. They are given that one to one at times information, or they're given those learning skills. Say, for example, you've identified a teacher who is not good with her communication with the parents just because the way she speaks, for example, is not very friendly. And as a school, you've identified that. So you can enhance her skill by giving her some professional development, say, suppose presentation skills, how she presents herself, how she speaks. So she can have those, as we call them, in professional development, the speaking enhancement classes. So as a head, you can create those. Say, for example, you can, for teachers, you can have little CPDs being conducted in the school itself to ensure better understanding and better learning for them as well. So any further questions on this topic? No? Okay.
I think this one is also clear.
Okay, thank you so much. So these were very small topics. So as much as I could elaborate, I have elaborated on them. So for today, these are the two topics that we would have covered. So one more topic is left in this module, so which we will cover in our next session. So I think we will take finish off our session here now. If you have no other further questions. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ma. Thank you for today.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Please, Regina, if you can share the slides, it will be very helpful.
हेलो 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 प्रदीप, प्रदीप दिखाई दे रहा है? हाँ हेलो
हेलो।
हाँ प्रदीप,
जी मैडम, मैं आ गया ऑनलाइन।
मैं देख रही हूँ, मैंने ऑन किया है कैमरा और माइक, देख कोई भी नहीं है, बस सुलेमान
नहीं,
इब्राहिम।
सुलेमान इब्राहिम से बात करनी चाहिए।
करके देखो।
हाँ करो, बिल्कुल।
सुलेमान जी,
हेलो मैम।
हेलो मैम।
हेलो। जी जी जी
हेलो
मैम, बात करो, बात करो।
हेलो सुलेमान,
हेलो
मिस्टर
मैम।
सुलेमान, कैन यू हियर मी?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Your class is over or is still going on?
I think the class has ended.
Yeah, it has been ended. I think so. हाँ,
Okay, okay.
okay,
So
okay.
let me
Thank you.
leave.
हाँ, okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. हाँ
अब
प्रदीप,
मैडम हाँ, इसकी रिकॉर्डिंग बंद करो वहां से।
कहाँ से बंद करूँ बता?
ये मैनेजर दिख रहा होगा आपको। मैं यहाँ से नहीं कर पाऊंगा बंद, वो कंप्यूटर से होगी। आप किसके कंप्यूटर बैठे हो, संतोष के या सर के?
संतोष।
संतोष के। तो वहीं पर एक राइट में 3 बटन वाला है।
3 बटन वाला है ना, वही मैं तेरे को
पर
बता
मैडम
रहा था।
पहले से बाहर तो करो।
किसको?
सलमान को बाहर तो करो पहले।
सलमान को बाहर कैसे करूंगी?
नहीं नहीं, पहले सुलेमान को बोलो कि आप लीव कर जाओ, मीटिंग से लीव कर जाओ।
ये लीव नहीं कर रहे ना, इसलिए।
लीव नहीं करता वो, साउथ अफ्रीका का लीव कैसे करेगा? एक काम करो, मैं फोन पे बात करता हूँ।
रुक जा, हटा रही हूँ मैं, हटा दिया। हो गया हो गया।
हो गया। तो
हाँ,
मैडम इसमें वहाँ
रिकॉर्डिंग आया।
हाँ
इसमें
रिकॉर्डिंग आया।
सर।
नहीं नहीं, वहां मत जाओ, रिकॉर्डिंग में मत। रिकॉर्डिंग है ना जो ऑनलाइन चल रही है अभी,
हाँ,
उसी पे क्लिक करो।
ये रेड वाला जो आ रहा है साइड में,
साइड में रेड वाला जो आ रहा है उस पे क्लिक कर दो।
ये जो है नहीं हो रहा, कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा उस पे क्लिक करके।
रिकॉर्डिंग चल रही होगी वहां पर।
सर मुझे बता के गए थे कि नीचे जो 3 डॉट हैं उन पे
हाँ
क्लिक
ठीक है,
करना।
ना ना
और
उस पे क्लिक करना ही नहीं अब वो क्लिक करना पहले होता है मैडम।
अच्छा,
लास्ट में जब एंड करते हैं तो उसमें क्लिक नहीं करना। ऊपर रिकॉर्डिंग आ रही होगी।
हाँ, एक रेड कलर का रिकॉर्डिंग आ रहा है।
हाँ, रिकॉर्डिंग आ रही ना, उसमें क्लिक करो।
कर रही हूँ, हो ही नहीं रहा कुछ नहीं उस पे।
हाँ ठीक है, लेफ्ट साइड में, कंप्यूटर की लेफ्ट साइड में एक आइकन आएगा बना हुआ, जिसमें बच्चे खेल रहे होंगे।
हाँ, वही तो, वो उस पे करने पे आ रहा है, 3 डॉट में खेलने में आ रहा है।
आ रहा है ना,
सर
वही कर्सर लेकर जाओ, उसको ऊपर करो।
इसमें कहाँ लेके जाऊं उसे, कर्सर को ऊपर करूं?
उसी कर्सर को, जो हमारे कंप्यूटर का मेन है ना, उस कर्सर को वहां लेके जाओ, उसको ऊपर कर दो। और
हाँ
ऊपर
हाँ
में
हाँ,
सीधा आ गया।
स्टॉप कर दो।
हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल, स्टॉप इंटरनेट, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
हाँ, हो गया हो गया।